extended my hand. He shook my hand and he told me what his name was. And I said, well, I've been watching you all out here, and I've noticed that you have an opportunity to be a very good leader, because I've seen when you guys play dodgeball, when people were not playing fair, you were very vocal about that. But I also saw you throw a ball and hit someone in the head. And when they responded, you said that you would stab them. Tell me about that. What does that mean? So what I found out was that that's the way things are done in his neighborhood. So he was in a new environment with the old behavior from the old environment. So as we talked about it, I said, so do you really think that you are threatened in the same way in this neighborhood?
Wow.
And he said, no, sir. So I knew it was a breakthrough because he said, no, sir. He didn't say
Said no, sir.
Right. He said, no, sir.
Yeah.
So we started talking, and I said, well, I'm going to be watching you. And what I would like for you to do, if things start to get out of hand, if you can't handle it, most of these kids know me. Why don't you all come down and ask me what my opinion is on it? And my son knows what I do and how I operate. He will also come and get me if you guys need for me to get involved. But I'll also, at the end of every week, if you guys don't fight and don't curse, I'm going to buy pizza for everybody.
Wow.
So what that brought about was every one of them starting to self-check, regulate their emotions, deal with one another with respect, and they cut the foolishness out. Every once in a while, they did what kids do,
Yeah.
but it did not escalate to violence. And so what happened, to my surprise, was that they were playing together so well, and they were looking forward to pizza day. Other people in the neighborhood started coming out and interacting with these kids and bringing different sodas and things like that.
Wow.
So it goes back to what I said about a village. See, I brought everybody in on one act of kindness, but it didn't stop there. I was talking to a mayor friend of mine in one of the municipalities that I work with, and I happened to see the community calendar, and I saw this kid in there. And I went to the mayor and I said, wait a minute, I know this kid. Let me tell you about this kid. And he says, I know. I've got him in one of the neighborhood boys programs. So you see, there's a lot of things going on in our neighborhoods to get these kids engaged in sports and other activities. But sometimes we just have to understand what it is that we can do. So another example was that there was a kid that everybody was making fun of, and this kid would go in and yell at his mother. And I overheard that one night.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw the kid out in the community and everybody was riding bikes, but this kid, I went to this kid and I said, so why are you not riding a bike? And he says, I don't know how. And they laugh at me. I said, well, what I want you to do is come out here Saturday morning at 7 o'clock when nobody is out early, and I'm going to teach you how to ride a bike. I taught him, and my son and my daughter reinforced that. And he learned how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Another instance where I asked the mother if she mind if I took him camping, and she said he would love it. He's never been. So you see, these kids don't always have these opportunities that are present in other communities or in other households, but we have what we have. And as a single parent, all you have is what you have. But you can certainly reach out to community leaders, individuals like myself, Ms. Brooks, get involved with different platforms like this and take what you can and leave the rest. And also understand that any municipality that you live in, put your alderman, your councilman, or your mayor to work. Give them a call and ask what programs do they have in place to help.
Yeah.
And they may get a summer camp program. So there's lots of things that we can do. And I hope that this is helpful. And I know we don't have but an hour to deal with these things, but if you don't take away anything from this opportunity that we've had to share tonight, understand how to negotiate a good time to talk, understand how to regulate yourself, understand how to have mutual respect and share power and not strive for being perfect, but just getting better. Understand how to reach out and get help when you need it. Understand how to utilize an uncle, a grandfather, a neighbor, if it's the right neighbor. Also, understand what's available in your church. understand what's available in some of the community centers, and don't be so embarrassed and feel as though if you reach out for help, it's a reflection on you and who you are. That's not what it's about. Because certainly if you're successful, then you have a son who is going to be successful. You have a son that's not laying in the street with his neck broken or shot. You have a son that has not been shot by another kid who is also dysregulated and that has been socialized into a very destructive behavior. And you have a son that's able to contribute to his kingdom. You have a son that's able to understand what happens to a diamond when it has been found, when it has been polished, and when it is ready to be delivered to the world. Most people often, in the presence of a diamond, the first thing they think about is that it's too much. They can't afford it. And this is what we need in our communities. We need our kings to be developed so that they can present as a king in the home and in the world. And the best way to be prepared for the world is to practice these skills in the home. And I tell my son that all the time. I say, son, this is where you get to practice. So please try these things that I'm talking to you about out. Can't hurt.
Yeah.
This is where you practice so that when you get into the world, you're more capable of managing yourself, negotiating outcomes, being able to establish meaningful relationships with others, being able to understand how to negotiate outcomes in any relationship, and most definitely understanding how to respect a woman, a mother, or any other woman. And ladies, I'm telling you, if you want your kings to get better and to be kings, please stop enabling them. If you continue to try to look the other way, if you continue to do nothing, you will get more of the same. So you cannot complain. Well, you can, but if you do more of the same, meaning that you do nothing, you don't get your own foundation and house in order. You cannot expect for these individuals to get better. Most of the men that I talk to, and especially today, I heard them say, I just want someone that can encourage me and tell me that it's going to be okay, to be supportive, to not just nag, nag, nag. Now that goes both ways too. So I saw in the responses that they were still on that very basic level, and that what was really missing was the process of understanding what goes into communication and how to negotiate outcomes and how to share power and be respectful of the platform that one another represents. That brings about a solid, harmonious outcome.
Yes, that's powerful, just powerful. We have a couple more questions. I think you answered one of them in your statement that you just said, but I wanna read this one to you. Is that okay? You have time for one more? One more?
Yes.
Okay, it says, is it too late to speak into my prince at the age of 15 and into my young king at the age of 23? Speaking to them to set them on a prosperous path for life. I'm a single mother.
No. I have adult men that I work with, and many of these men are presenting the same issues that young men are presenting. So I'm telling you that I have kings that I work with right now that are presenting with issues that young princes are dealing with now because of the disconnect with their relationship with the king and the queen that was in their life. It doesn't mean that it's too late. I work with these young kids, and I've had parents that have come to me and have said that I might as well just pay you to be the parent or to be the babysitter because they seem to listen to you more than they listen to me. So what does that tell you? Because I don't set kids up to have to listen to me in a way that that's what they depend on. I don't deal with people to create dependency. I work with people to make them independent. So I constantly encourage and help develop that independence by allowing individuals to take responsibility and be accountable for their behaviors, do the introspection, do the homework to allow you to get to a higher level and to be able to ask for what it is that you need and to be respectful enough to negotiate that and share power when that involves another person being a part of it. You cannot sell yourself out to make someone else happy. Now with our sons, our prince That's a little different because they are children. But with men, think about what it is that you are giving up as a queen when you have to bow down in your own house to someone that you trust and love and have decided to let that person be your king. Often what women give up is their self-respect, their self-esteem, their sense of self, and you're giving your bodies up and everything else, and you're not getting outcomes that make you truly happy. I talk to couples all the time, and women tell me often, I'm just not happy because he doesn't give me any attention. He's not intimate. He get these passive aggressive behaviors going, but often women decide to bow down and to give into just for the sake of being there. I have a young lady that I'm working with right now, and she's made a decision. He's going to straighten up, or she's getting ready to go ahead and do what is necessary once she has tried to do everything in her power to correct and to make things better. If that cannot be accomplished, you have no obligation to stay in a situation where you are being annihilated spiritually, psychologically, or physiologically. I'm talking about domestic violence now. I'm talking about spirits that are crushed because these kings are not being kings, and we're not allowing them to be accountable and holding them to a certain level and a certain standard so they can develop. But that certainly means that you have to be rational. You have to present on a solid foundation yourself, and then things should get better, not worse. It doesn't take a lot of work to deal with love. It's easy to be in love. It's easy to love someone. When you're working hard at being in love, that's a symptom. And if you track the symptoms based on behavior, you should be able to track what kind of thinking that goes into stimulating behavior, because you can't just behave. You can't just experience emotion. There has to be a thought process that's tied to that. And often we are rooted in these different things that I talked about in terms of rejection and hurt and the sense of feeling inadequate, or when we've been shut down in other places. And then we come home and we start to act out in ways because we are overstimulated, dysregulated, and incapable of stepping back long enough to be rational.
Wow.
If we can love one another and we can understand one another, we can certainly recognize the symptoms and both step back and allow a process of cooling down and healing to take place so that you can do what individuals do when they polish a diamond, to make it look good, to make it look pretty. And you know how sometimes us queens will have that stone on our hands deliberately so that other women or queens can see what it is that our king has done. But it's what you both have done, and it's the ingredients that goes into making the platform that allow you guys to share that in a union. After the fact, God will do his work and bless that union.
All right. Well,
I
Tony,
hope I answered the question. Were there any other questions?
That was the last question. It says, thank you. You are awesome. That was a comment. He did a great job. I've gotten comments saying, thank you for having this. So I think people have appreciated you spending this time with us. I certainly am honored to have had you stop and take out of your busy day and your time and your schedule to spend this time with us. So I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, it even says in here, do you want to leave an email address at this point? So I can tell you, when he sends me the resources and contact information, I will post that. He has given me permission to do that. But do you want to leave an email? If you just say it now, I have somebody who will type it, so it'll go out on the
Yes,
Facebook.
you can email me at anthony@mssalternatives.com. And I'll send that to Mrs. Brooks as well.
Okay, yeah, and I'll make sure I get that posted for you all.
Okay,
Well,
and what I'll do too, Neva, for those individuals that are with us tonight, do you have a count of how many people are on tonight?
I can't see the count. I'll get it in a minute. Somebody will get it to me and I'll let you know.
Okay, so for those individuals that are on tonight, hopefully it's not a very, very large number, because I have other clients and other commitments and things like that. But I will extend an opportunity for those individuals to get one free session with me.
Okay.
at no charge.
So what if we say the first 10?
Well, if it's the first 10, hopefully there's some insurance that's involved, or if there's an ability to pay a very insignificant fee, I do have a sliding scale where I do make these services available to individuals. I think my normal offers rate is about $120 an hour, but I can see someone that doesn't have the means for about $25 an hour.
Okay.
We're working on some other things that will make these services more available. There's a major project that I'm working on. I'm just not at liberty to talk about it right now, but I'm really excited about it, and I've got some major support, and I'm sure God's gonna make this happen, and you all will know about that later as well.
Okay, well, I will certainly serve as a connection for Tony. For those of you who would like to take advantage of that, you also have his email address. And so thank you, Tony. Thank you for joining us. I want to remind everybody that our topic over the next 8 to 9 weeks is speaking to a king. It's vitally important that we have this dialogue, that we have these conversations, because our sons, our marriages, our homes are in trouble. And so when we can come together and have this dialogue, if only one person is helped, or 10 people or 20 people are helped by the dialogue that we have, I believe God is well pleased. Now, yes, we're going to have 2 additional young men who are going to come to us and talk to us later this month. I will have the flyers out at least 5 days beforehand, so you can plan accordingly. Join us when you can. And then in the month of August, we're going to have couples. We have 4 couples scheduled to come and sit in the room with us and talk to us, much like we did tonight. And you'll be able to ask them questions as well. On the 7th of August, we have 2 couples that are going to pour out to you. These couples have longevity in their marriage. They've been successful. They've been through some stuff now. They've been through some things, but they figured out how to communicate, how to share the power in the marriage. And the women are saying to me, yes, I figured out how to speak to the king. I had one king tell me, I figured out how to make it work. I just say, yes, dear, all the time. That's what makes it work. So we'll have fun with those conversations. There'll be some seriousness in those conversations, but most of all, you will be helped from those conversations. So thank you so much again. The polishing table will be open toward the end of this month. We'll give you those dates and times. If you need more information after you get the resources, please go to our website. It's www.dsharpensd.com. www.dsharpensd.com, and that should be on Facebook, so you can see that. Come to our website. You can fill out a form and let us know, yes, I want to be a part of the polishing table for speaking to a king, and we'll make sure that we respond to you and get you at the table at the time. Well, listen, I love you all. Thank you so much, Tony, for joining us.
Thanks
and to my diamonds, let me just say thank you, Omega, for operating in the back and making sure we got our questions pulled in and answered. And to the diamonds on our call, this is what we will part with. You are a rare diamond. Yes. You are precious in God's sight. And my sister, I love the way you shine. God bless you all, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Well, we're off Facebook Live. Thank you so much, Tony.
You're quite welcome. I really enjoyed that. I hope that it was helpful for everybody.
It was. We had a lot of good comments. I mean, those were good questions. Sometimes we don't have that many questions. Sometimes we may not have more than 15 or 20 people view at the time. But as the days go on and people see it the next day, or somebody tells somebody else about it, those views will get more. So that's why I said the first 10, but I don't want people to flood your email. But at the same time, I'll let you know if people need that help. They want that one-on-one. That was what the questions were about. Does he see young princes? Does he see young kings? Yeah. You know, a lot of people will go for treatment for help. They'll seek it, and then the boys don't see anybody that look like them.
Right. And I've got some people that are coming together just for that. I've got a location with a Dr. Eric Smith, who is his office is set up over near what is that, Belmar, near the Central West End and Wellston, in that area, close to that. I've got another young man that have years of experience, and much like myself, we're partners, and he works out in Creve Coeur. I work out in Creve Coeur, and most everybody is doing telehealth right now. But what I'm asking for people to do is that in between sessions, when you don't have a client booked and you're not doing anything, see someone at no charge.
Oh, I see.
You know,
and that'll work. That'll get people in that really need the help. But like you said, you're not at liberty to put that out there yet. So that'll be good. So if you will, I have some resources myself for St. Louis. I also have resources for Indiana. We had a lot of people on the call from Indiana.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see my friend from New York, but she will watch it later, and she will give me then resources in her area. So I'll put together a little resource packet, sort of, and make sure people get that.
And I got one thing, I guess what I should have said was that those individuals that have insurance and or that has Medicaid, they can just call the number on the back of the insurance and they will get them connected with a therapist. And many of the insurance companies now are asking for your race information so that they can partner people with individuals that are like them if that's what they want.
Right.
The other thing that I'll do is that I've got some information that I start people out with to get them started with the communication process, like a little one-page sheet on thinking errors, how to deal with emotions. And I also have a communications guidebook that I just recently found online that every client that I get, I send them a copy of that because it's loaded with information on how to communicate, how to negotiate outcomes, and also it's got lots of links to YouTube examples and everything in there.
Okay,
so
all right.
I will send that to you as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Tony. I appreciate you. Give your wife my regards. Tell her I said hello.
I will.
And I'll talk to you soon. I'll talk to you soon. I'll let you know how that goes. How many people, give that response, that ongoing.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Hey, Neva, are you keeping up with the demographic information of the people that are logging on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Right. Like I said, I knew Indiana was in the house, and I knew people from here were on. My friends from New York will watch it. And then there's some people from Texas who watch it later. The time difference kind of throws some people off. And so I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted.
Let me know, because I got some guys, a lot of the guys at different barbershops told me to send them the link as soon as it's available so they can see it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, take care, Neva. Let me know anything that you need. I'm there for you.
Okay. Thanks, Tony.
Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.